I'm Heston Blumenthal, and I run one of the best restaurants in the world.
Hello, Israel. Come to feast with me. So I'm going to show you how to make mock turtle soup Mad Hatter tea. This dish is based on the Victorian mock turtle soup recipe, but also brings in it key elements from Alice in Wonderland. The Victorians used to eat turtles, and for many reasons they stopped eating turtles and created this soup called mock turtle soup, which contains no turtle whatsoever. Shalom arutz Shalom arutz stop it! Shalom arutz ha'ochel. I grew up in London in the 1970s. Now certainly food in Britain in the 1970s was pretty atrocious. When I was 15 or 16, we went to France for our summer holiday for the very first time. And I remember so vividly the noise of the crickets, the smell of lavender, the cheese trolley that was bigger than this table. And I just thought, like I'd slipped down a hole into some kind of wonderland. And I got hooked. Food then became in my blood and in my skin, and in a funny way, that experience really was the catalyst for me. When you go back in time, there was no cinema, television, there was no music, there were no computer games. So food at top level became much more of a spectacle. It was really the theatrical element, food that told stories. All my research here is historic British recipes. For me, there's a tradition in this country where when going back several hundreds of years, when our gastronomy was the envy of Europe. And I want to go and actually bring that back again. So what we do is the stock itself we freeze it in vacuum bags, pop it out of the bags, and then put it in a perforated tray lined with a filtration cloth, could be a muslin, it's fine, and then just allow it to defrost and that'll drip through. And what happens is you get the most unbelievably clear stock you can imagine. But all of these steps are designed to produce the most concentrated flavoured consommé or stock that we possibly can without boiling it down, because I don't want to lose the original character of the mock turtle soup. This is the frozen stock. So bash this up. Now I'm going to put some of this is the frozen stock, and put it in a food processor. Can you see here? The machine is literally spinning, separating the consommé from the ice. Here's the consommé, and here is the ice. This dish is based upon the Victorian mock turtle soup recipe, but also for me, one of the things that really bring this to life is to incorporate some key elements from Alice in Wonderland, the story. And one of those key elements for me was the Mad Hatter's tea party. And in this part of the story, the Mad Hatter is having a discussion at the table about his watch. And I think it's the hare that gets a bit fed up and bored of this and starts dunking the Mad Hatter's fob watch, his gold fob watch, in the cup of tea. So I wanted to incorporate that whole fob watch thing into this dish. Come to feast with me. So 1995, I opened the Fat Duck. It was a bistro really, myself and one person in the kitchen, two people at the front of house. And we served things like steak and chips and creme brulee and those sorts of dishes. And then obviously things all changed. I had no idea the restaurant was going to end up where it is today. We have 47 chefs, we do 45 customers. The restaurant is a very small, old building. It was built in 1550. In many respects, for a few years I wanted to move from where we are, because I wanted that memory as a kid when I was in my teenage years in France I wanted the mountain, and I wanted a lake and a river and all that sort of stuff that you imagine with grand restaurants. But then I realised, actually, that was a blessing in disguise, because I didn't have all those memories, not naturally anyway. So it forced me into creating that with the food. Stage, and this is the last step in the concentration process. I've got these beakers here, which is part of one of the most exciting pieces of kitchen kit, and it's also got a purple flashing light, which makes it even more exciting. So now when the beakers have been filled up to the same level, they need to go into the rocket. Right, so this is the rocket, and this is Otto. Basically what it does is it spins these bottles incredibly quickly. So traditionally, if you were going to take this stock and you wanted to reduce it, you'd have to put it in a pan, put it on the hob, and boil it down. Now that's fine, but it will completely change the flavour of the stock. And what we've got to do here is to concentrate it, reduce it, but without applying any heat. Shalom arutz ha'ochel. And then in the mid-80s, I read a book written by an American chap called Harold McGee on the science of cooking. This book actually explained why eggs make a custard go thick, or why eggs will make a souffle rise. That opened a whole new world to me. Molecular cooking. I mean, all cooking's food is molecule. Everything we do contains molecules. I'm not a scientist, but what I am is incredibly inquisitive. I like to know how things work, and if I understand how things work on a more precise level, then it opens up a world of possibilities. And I think all chefs should be inquisitive. Ask questions, respect the classics, get a classical foundation sorted. That's really important. So you can see now that liquid's been reduced quite significantly and is now super concentrated. So at last, we are ready to make the watches. This is the rubberized fob watch mold which we've had made. Just pour. The fob watch needs a chain. We've actually got little tea bag tabs. All the watches, they now need to go into the fridge to set. Okay. So there we are. There's the Mad Hatter's fob watch. Now, there's one last step we need to do to turn this into a real fob watch. And obviously, fob watches aren't kind of this colour, are they? They're gold. Well, they are in my Alice in Wonderland. So, I need to make this gold. So here, I've got some edible gold leaf. So there is the Mad Hatter's fob watch. So now I'm ready to finish the dish. Here I've got a black truffle. So these are the mock turtle eggs. Now you can see it's obviously a mock turtle egg. The gel's here made with a heat-resistant gelling agent, so they remain set while warm. I'm going to put, these are enoki mushrooms. I'm just going to pop a few of these into the egg, because in Alice in Wonderland, on her way to the tea party, she meets the caterpillar. So this is my homage to that caterpillar. So here I've got a terrine, and it's basically tongue and lardo, which is cured pork fat. Some pickled cucumber. This is a gastric, basically an acidulated caramel. There's a few mustard seeds. This is some micro parsley. So there is a mock turtle soup base, and here is the fob watch. It goes into the teacup. We pour the hot water onto the fob watch, and just like in Alice, dunk, and that is the Mad Hatter's mock turtle gold leaf consommé, which goes into a mock turtle soup.
We're being titillated and delighted and satisfied.
One of the most beautiful dishes I've ever looked at.
Shalom Arutz HaOchel. Come to feast with me.